So, who was the winner?
That, like I said, hard to say. That if that's one of us that was coming in town that caught as you come around the corner, emerging or not. I don't know, but 64 is the highest. Yeah, let me get a picture of it. What we need on it.
Debbie, you live?
Yes.
All right. Call order. Roll call. Ken?
Yeah.
Doug?
Yep.
Joel?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
All right. Approval of the agenda?
Move we approve the agenda.
Second. Further discussion? Joel?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Ken?
Yeah.
Steve?
Yes.
On to citizens forum. Or excuse me, citizens forum. Rich?
In the last month, my wife and I have been walking our two dogs around town on leash, and twice we've had dogs attack us, attack our dog, I should say. One was at the end of Main Street, end of Maxwell Street, the last house before you go around the corner to the elevator. I don't know who lives there.
Left or right side?
On the east side.
Okay.
They've got two large dogs, but this was a mastiff that broke. Supposedly, she said it broke free and came out into the street. We weren't even on anywhere near their property. We were turning the corner to come west, and I literally had to kick the thing like half a dozen times to try to keep him off my dog before she ran out and grabbed him. The other time was whoever lives at Jimmy Jackie Mathis's house. They have a black and white dog. And again, we were walking our two dogs on the sidewalk on leash, and their black and white dog came out and started biting at ours. So my first question is, I'll admit I don't know for sure what the city ordinance is, but I called on the mastiff. I called the sheriff's office. They sent a deputy down to talk to the lady. But I guess I want to know, I hope I'm quoting him reasonably close. He said that nothing could be done because neither a person nor my dogs were injured. And I guess I want to propose an extra step that might not be in the city code. But I would like, when I'm going to call it an attack like that happens, I would like the city to at least write a letter to the offending residents, something basic saying it's come to our attention that your dog had an altercation with one that was on a leash near or on your property, and I would like in that letter the city code copied and sent to them. I don't know what else legally, code-wise we can do, but I think that would. So, Deb, I asked you to maybe look it up and be familiar with it for the meeting. What is the code as far as before something can be done about a dog that is off leash and attacking some other person or animal in town? Does it take 2 times before anything is done, or what's the current?
So our current, at least the way I see it, under the annoyance or disturbance, it's unlawful for the owner of a dog to allow or permit such a dog to cause serious annoyance or disturbance to any person by frequent or habitual howling, yelping, barking, or otherwise, or by running after or chasing persons, automobiles, bicycles, or other vehicles, which doesn't contain other dogs.
But what's the consequence? It's unlawful, then what happens?
It does not look like it's tied to the code, the state code, so maybe there's no penalty listed.
Well, no offense, but there needs to be something other than we're just acknowledging that there was an attack. There needs to be some consequence.
The ordinance, chapter 57, dangerous and vicious animals, defines a dangerous animal as any dog with a known propensity, tendency, or disposition to attack unprovoked as evidenced by its habitual or repeated chasing, snapping, or barking at humans or domestic animals so as to potentially cause injury or to otherwise endanger their safety. And the consequence of if something like that happens is upon the complaint of any individual that a person is keeping, sheltering, or harboring a dangerous animal or vicious animal on the premises, the mayor or a peace officer shall cause the matter to be investigated, and if after investigation the facts indicate that the person named in the complaint is keeping, sheltering, or harboring a dangerous or vicious animal in the city, the mayor or peace officer shall order the person named in the complaint to safely remove such animal from the city or destroy the animal within 3 days of the receipt of such order. So there is consequence. If you have a complaint that the animal was dangerous by definition, then the mayor or a peace officer has an obligation to investigate and report.
Who gets to define those words that were used to indicate whether a dog is, quote, dangerous or whatever other words were there?
That's the definition.
That's what the peace officer or the mayor do as their investigation determines whether or not it is a dangerous or vicious animal. And then this also has a process whereby it is brought to the council for a hearing if there is a dispute as to whether it's a dangerous or vicious animal or not. Isn't that what Rich is asking?
It is.
Okay. So
The other side-
you have a complaint?
I do.
Okay.
And here's why. I mean, I'm just thinking if my wife had been alone walking the 2 dogs by herself, she would not have been able to kick and fend the dog off from seriously harming either her or one of the 2. And I understand the lady said she keeps them roped or tied up, but not good enough.
But it wasn't. And it came out in the street where you were
Mhm.
and appeared to you to be dangerous or vicious. The definition of vicious is a vicious animal means any animal, except for a dangerous animal, that has bitten or clawed a person or persons while running at large, and attack was unprovoked, or any animal that has exhibited vicious tendencies in present or past conduct. And it goes on. So,
But it keeps saying has bitten or clawed, and I can't prove that it bit my dog. I mean,
that's
there's no
part of the
physical.
complaint and part of the investigation.
But there's another clause in there that says has attacked any domestic animal without provocation.
Okay, well, that for sure happened. And maybe I'm more concerned about a 80-pound mastiff than a black and white terrier, but that is scary. And I don't want to have, so much so that my wife doesn't even want to walk by that house anymore. And I should be having to avoid certain parts of town just because some big dog is there that meets this criteria. So, yeah, so the sheriff's department has a record of it. Some deputy came down and talked to her already. But if there's some other step I need to take to issue a formal complaint, I guess I'm doing it tonight.
Rich, just out of curiosity, is the yard fenced in?
No.
Is that something that we could do for them to be fenced in a kennel area?
So I can actually touch base on this. I was the one who came down, took the call. There's 2 dogs right over there. One is her son's dog. She has a Rottweiler, so they have big dogs. they got and reported it. You said it was dragging the leash. It pulled the leash off. She ran out, got it. When I came down here, it was back on the leash. They swapped the leashes, so she got it secured. So I think what I said to you was, it's gonna be hard to do anything saying it was running free of leash because she had it tied up and the dog broke off. I don't think I could stop that dog going to attack. I mean, I don't think it was. I wasn't there for it, but that dog was huge, so I don't know if I could have stopped it from attacking the dog either. So, but it didn't bite your dog, didn't injure it. It sounds like. So I chalked it up as the dog broke off the leash. She corrected it. I said we'd document this. If it happens further, obviously it'd be an issue. But right now, I've never taken a call there. I didn't see call history of that dogs being run around attacking people. So that's kind of where it went.
Okay, I'll back down, but
It's documented, like I said.
No, that's
I
fine.
told her that she can be liable if it would attack your dog, and that bills you guys could have a civil suit with you, and she'd be liable for a lot of that. So she was told that too.
I still think it would be worthwhile when one is reported that the city send a letter to that residence reiterating the law and the consequences if something more serious had happened. I don't think that's unreasonable. Because I didn't know what the law is. I mean, I don't come to the city council meetings to read this particular part of it. But I think making people aware of it. And also, the other thing, the city's newsletter that just came out, there was a page titled Reminders. I want it in the next city newsletter with the reminder section on what happens when your dog is
Yep, you can do that.
run loose.
Definitely mark that as a reminder for the next newsletter. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, so to be clear, I'll pull the complaint, but it's,
Well,
my only thought is that if that happens again, it may be too late the second time
I
around.
think it's a valid complaint. I mean, the dog was big and it came off. I'm sure when I walked up, it barked, and then as I talked to the gal there, it was wagging its tail, walking around. It wasn't barking aggressive at me. I mean, I think it just is used to, if someone walks by, it barks at it, then it stops. But like I said, I have it documented, so if it happens on that address again, anyone who responds will see it's the second time that the dog broke off, and then obviously there'd be a different route for that.
The other thing I wanted to ask is, I've ordered some, it's not pepper spray, but I think it's citronella or something that is a spray can that, if I'm reading it, and it's true, that the post office has used for 10 years to carry. My question is there any liability on my part if I was to spray a dog that's attacking myself or my dog with a can of that type of stuff,
as long as you're in the street, no.
or on the side?
As long as you're in the public right of way.
Well, I wouldn't say no precisely. I would say there's always a potential for some sort of liability, some way, shape, or form. But if you're protecting yourself and or others, and you can justify your use of force.
There's no law against a person using that type of spray on a dog.
I called animal control on that question. They said that as long as you feel threatened, you have to feel threatened. You just can't.
Yeah.
Be spraying.
Can't go spraying dogs randomly.
Yeah.
Evidently, they've had that problem before.
Which falls to your use of force. You know, you feel threatened and you have the ability to defend yourself. So.
And the last question, I can't prove this yet, but on the south end of that Metcalf over there, that's the full
Maxwell first.
Metcalf. Okay, south end of Metcalf, it's a T. You go down into the park, or you go to the right. That house that's on the corner used to be a duplex, I think, that Donnie Norton had.
Big white one?
Yeah. There's a German, I think it's a German Shepherd type dog there that the guy has. He lets it out its front door, which is on the side of the park, and it's on it's not a rope, it's not a chain, but like a thin steel cord, whatever you want to call that. And I'm pretty sure that cord reaches across the sidewalk. So one of the times we were walking that way, I wanted to go to that street and turn. We had to turn a block before because the dog was chained, quote unquote, but at least it was long enough that it was over the sidewalk. That shouldn't be allowed either, should it?
I don't think so.
Then again, I was a block away, so I don't know, or 2 blocks away actually. We went the other direction. Can somebody check to see if the chain on that one is long enough that it would still threaten somebody walking on the sidewalk? whether it be,
You want me to sacrifice my leg?
Sure.
Just because it's a big dog doesn't mean it's mean. I've had a big dog, she licked you to death, and the small dog is the one you have to watch
this
out
one
for.
barks really aggressively, so much so that we walk totally around the other side of the street when we go by it if it's out. So, I mean, I don't know how to go up and ask the guy, would you walk your chain to the sidewalk and tell us whether your dog can reach it or not? But I think that's another issue, particularly with that dog, that needs to be addressed.
See what the ordinance covers for.
I know in the county, most of them you have to be contained on your property, so if it's on the sidewalks, obviously you get off the property, but that'd be something if you called into the sheriff's office, we come out and talk to them, say, hey, it's going too far, you need to, bring back a couple links, would be kind of how I would handle that the first time, but this is news to me, I've never heard this complaint yet, so whether no one's reported it or,
I'll try to watch
Just
to see
happened.
if I see it on the sidewalk, and then I'll
that's how it is in county. I said, I don't know every town, they're all just a little bit different, but in the county, you have to be able to contain it to your property.
I don't see anything in our ordinance that defines that specifically, but, that just makes sense.
Yeah.
So, Dale, you said you will put something reminder in the next newsletter.
Yes.
Are you guys agreeable to sending individual letters to anybody that brings in a complaint about an attack?
So for me, attacks are more along the lines of that I either want the sheriff's office to handle them or animal control to handle them because they are a matter where they are being investigated and the outcome is determined by an impartial party. So as far as sending a letter, I mean, after the attack, the investigation is going to determine the outcome and what happens with the animal and provide any consequences based off of what that situation is. I mean, I don't have any problem sending a copy of the code to the individual that had possession of the dog that got out, the sheriff dealt with. I don't have any problem with sending him a code reminder. Hey, this is the code section that covers animals in town.
If you would, I'd appreciate it.
The code, Animal Protection and Control Code, Chapter 55, definition number 4 defines at large as meaning off the premises of the owner and not under the control of a competent person, restrained within a motor vehicle or housed in a veterinary hospital or kennel. So if it's just on a chain and it's and it comes out onto the sidewalk, then it's at large. So if we have a complaint of that nature, I believe we should be following up with a letter informing the people of the code, and if the mayor wishes the deputy to visit the people and make sure they understand the seriousness of the situation, and that's certainly the mayor's prerogative.
Do you mind checking out when you have a moment?
Yeah, I'm on tomorrow and go down there.
Okay, thank you. Deb, would you mind putting that code section together and sending them to those 2 residents as a reminder? Please.
Weren't there 3 issues? You had 2 dogs and then this one?
Oh, well, the other one came out on the street, it would have been at large as well. So
That's his house, I don't know who lives there, but it was a black and white dog. You know, that larger terrier, not super large, just some sort of terrier. And the little girl at the time, when I was kicking that dog away from mine, the little girl that I think lives there came out and grabbed the dog and pulled it away. I didn't think anything about it at the time, but when we had the second attack, I thought, okay, I'm going to do something. Because I shouldn't be afraid to walk around my town.
Where did Mathesis live?
Rich, was it their house or was it their rental house? Was it
Nobody
Jim
rents.
Matheson's
Their
house?
Yeah.
Or his rental right next to it? It was his house.
It's just,
Where he used to live.
Had
If you
you
could include that one as well, please.
had a
And the
problem?
violation was it was at large
yeah, off the leash.
age. and attacked you while you were on the street.
On the sidewalk, we were on their sidewalk.
Well, in the right of way.
But, yeah.
Have you had a problem at Fifth and that at the White House?
No. I know the one you're talking about, but no.
Yeah, because I know I had somebody complain to me about a dog being let out of the car and
Mhm.
While we're on the subject of dogs, how many, dog licenses do we put out a year?
Not very many.
Chapter 56 states that all licenses will expire on the 31st and have to be renewed on April 1st.
Yeah, it also states that you don't have to have a license.
Yeah, we used to come in and get one, and I'm pretty sure now we were told we don't have to anymore. Do you still have to submit a rabies certificate
You
or
have to
something?
register them.
Okay.
You don't have
Register
to
them.
have one of our tags, you have to be able to register and prove that you have something that identifies the dog as yours.
And that it's rabies
And the rabies
and
and
vaccination up to date. And how many people comply with that?
very little. Even though I tell everybody new in town, I've given people the things to fill out.
A previous council decided that it was not in the interest of the city to do, to license dogs. That dogs, many owners have their own tags and they, take care of them themselves. And so the city, was just creating duplication of effort.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, because I don't know what licensing it through the city, what its function would mainly be.
Well, you'd have reference of where dogs are.
We would know, when you said a spaniel that is a certain color, we would have a record descriptive of the dog. We'd be able to look it up and verify that it belonged at a certain location and confirm the information that you applied or supplied. Or if the dog is found running around, we pick it up, we can take it back to the owner.
Yeah.
And
Ours
things
have
like
chips, so we don't have that problem,
But we don't have a chip reader.
yeah, the issue I see with what you're suggesting though is enforcing it. I mean, you're not gonna, Deb's saying most people aren't willingly to voluntarily come in and say, here's my rabies certificate and here's my dog tag or whatever. And I don't know how you're gonna track people down in town that have dogs in your room. That shouldn't be a reason to not do it, but realistically it is.
15 years ago, we would issue, how many licenses?
A
It
couple
was-
hundred,
Huh?
almost 200.
And now we do virtually none. And
My question is, if the city council voted to not do it, why is it still in the ordinance that it's required?
what they voted was the ordinance that is here that says, you don't have to get a license, but you do have to provide information about the dog.
The very first sentence says, shall procure a dog license.
Over the age of 6 months.
So if the city council voted to scrub this ordinance, why is this still the ordinance that's in place?
It says, license, tags. Yeah, what the ordinance says is that if you already have a tag, then we will accept that as a license. If I remember correctly.
But read the first line.
The very first line says, shall procure a dog license from city clerk each year.
Okay.
So if that's the ordinance, then we need to start enforcing that, and people need to start coming in and register their dogs and showing rabies tags
And the license,
I wonder where the dog for which a license is required shall apply to the city clerk on forms provided by the city. Everything's saying shall here, so.
So what they added was, in the case of a readable microchip under the dog's skin, the identification of the owner wishes the identifier to be used in lieu of a metal tag, then the owner shall provide the microchip's unique identifier to the city clerk for inclusion of record for the metal license.
Yeah, I just know that I was mayor at the time, and it was the intent of the council to,
Well, we had over 200 dogs. And here you were only charging $2. You can charge $5. It's pretty good income.
Add it to their water bill every month till they pay it.
Oh, some of the income that comes in, we can buy a chip reader so we can, when Tony catches a dog running around loose, he can find out who it belongs to and they pay
They
an
might
impound
have
fee or whatever for the
They
dog.
have one of the vet offices, because
Yeah.
I had a dog checked over there.
All right, Rich, did you have anything else?
No, I'm happy. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Come back.
Thanks, Rick.
Any other citizens forum?
Was there another dog, Deb? Two dogs that attacked a cat or something?
Those were handled by
So
the,
that's been, okay, that's also been addressed, okay.
That's kind of what being handled by the county.
Most animal control handles most of our animal calls that we contract with them, so. They usually the ones that issue any citations, or we'll usually go help them if they're gonna pull a dog or you have to do quarantine and stuff.
Dale, I asked you a question last time around, just kind of, shouldn't this happen? And on 5508, in here, it says, for the purpose of this chapter, interference includes animal feces not removed by the owner of the animal. It doesn't say dog, it says by the owner of the animal. So if they're riding a horse down the street and the horse drops a gift, shouldn't they have to clean it up from the city street?
You gotta let me know who it is and what, catch them.
Well, I mean, if people walking their dog have to pick up after them, this
There
is the
again, you
same
have to
type of
catch them.
thing.
it's, I don't know if you've seen the parade down here, but I drove down Main Street after the parade. And
Usually your job is where to clean that up.
I haven't found that as my job as manager. But
shouldn't you?
Follow everybody.
when you consider what they're eating and the fact that a good solid rain will usually wash it away, and it's not a health or smell concern.
No different than a dog as far as I'm concerned. It's an animal that is doing its duty where it shouldn't, and common sense tells me it should be cleaned up the same as a dog.
have we had any other complaints about the dogs, the Hanes running loose?
But I didn't hear you, sorry.
Have we had any other complaints about the dogs down at Haynes's running loose? Is this the first one?
Yeah, of that one. I've heard that sometimes she ties the Rottweiler to the lamp posts down here and then gets her car and comes up and gets the dog, but
And that would also be a problem
At large.
because it would be at large even though it is tied up to the
I just heard that last week.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. On to the public hearing.
Move we open the public hearing.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Sue?
Yes.
Kent?
Yeah.
Doug?
Yes.
Joel?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Public hearing is now open, and it is to adopt the plans, specifications, form contract, and estimate of cost for the construction of the Baldwin Street reconstruction project. In here, you'll see a letter addressed to Pat. And it is part of shows the 5 bids that were received, the contractors on the bids.
Who's that?
Oh,
That's Spencer's letter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to get confused with somebody at the county.
I think so. Anyway, it has my name at the top. So,
Oh, yeah. One place. I'll give him grief on that one.
so we had the 5 bids. First, CJ Moyna was 1.8, Construct was 1.35, Manats was 1.33, Keller was 1.32, and Riley Construction Company was 1.31. The engineer's probable construction cost was 1.5. Low bid was 12% below the engineer's probable construction cost. We were happy to have 5 bids. And Riley Construction is believed to have proper expertise, equipment, materials, and workforce to complete this contract as specified. And I would move on to me accepting the bid.
Where's Riley out?
Riley out of Des Moines. Yeah. And you see them doing roads all the time. They're big. They're well done.
Very familiar with the DOT
Yeah,
and their system.
So the motion in front of us should be to accept the evaluation and recommendation granting Riley Construction.
Yeah, we got to close the hearing first.
I'll,
Unless there's any other
Well,
public
yeah.
comment.
any other public comment? If not, I will make a motion to close the public meeting.
Second.
Further discussion? Joel?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Ken?
Yeah.
Doug?
Yeah.
Steve?
Yes. And move we accept the engineer's evaluation and award the bid to Riley Construction Company Incorporated for the amount in the letter.
I'll second.
Is there anything else we need to do?
No, except the, well, yeah, I think the resolution approves the plans and specs and then accepts and authorizes the mayor to award inside the contracts.
And we don't have a resolution, but
Do we have a contract even? Do we need a contract?
We have a contract.
We have it? Okay.
I haven't actually read it yet or got to see it yet because it's a very cumbersome process.
Yeah, unfortunately, because we're tied into the DOT system, all that is done electronically and it's all in that Doc Express. And it's a
So I've got access.
belabored.
I have the digital ID that I need to do it. I haven't got back in. They were supposed to grant access today. I've been in communications with the DOT. They're supposed to grant access to the contract, and then once I can view it, we can sign it.
do we need a resolution or is a motion adequate?
Ted, do you know? I don't know.
Don't know.
Well, whereas the DOT received bids and opened the bids for Snyder project number 119.0265.01A. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the city approves the plans, project plans, and be it further resolved that the city awards the project to Riley Construction for $1,315,000, and that the mayor is off, and be it further resolved that the mayor is authorized to sign the contracts upon review.
That's a very good resolution, Steve. Nice work.
You've seen a few of those today.
Deb, did you get all that down?
No. I'm gonna
That's why you
have to
gotta
look.
record it.
She
I'm
has
gonna
a,
record it.
She's still at whereas.
and whatever the next resolution number is, you can assign that.
I'll second.
Further discussion on the resolution.
Project has a late start date of July 8th. Would you define what that really means?
So what that means is they have 75 days to complete the work. And this is how DOT sets up their contracts. They have a working day contract. So they have 75 days, working days to complete the contract. The late start date is whether they started or not, the DOT starts counting days. So if they get free days, if they start earlier than that, a lot of times they do, but the late start date is, if you're not started by this date, we're counting days anyway. So that's how the
And
DOT
that's
does
5
it.
days a week counted.
Yeah, 5 days a week, working days counted.
So we're looking at 15 weeks then.
If they take the full time,
Max.
yeah, maximum, yeah.
And have they specified, there's been discussion about keeping one side open and the other, and doing the intersection. Is there any information on that?
There's not yet, because DOT is very stickler about their rules, and we can't even talk to the contractor until the contract is awarded. So this meeting here today, and then the signing of the contracts opens up a lot of doors to have a lot more discussions, but they get really touchy.
That's
about
critical information.
Right, yep, and they get really touchy about talking to the contractor before then, so we have not been able to do that yet.
Okay.
That's something we can talk about at the pre-construction.
We can talk about pre-con, we can talk about before the pre-con, just, we got the contracts in place, and then we can start really moving.
As of this moment, the way I understood, the way I read it, is because the contract is out there, but it's not signed. Nobody can have any communication
Yes.
with the contractor until it is a signed contract.
Yep.
It's a confidential process.
Okay.
All right. No further discussion. Ken?
Yeah.
Sue?
Yes.
Joel?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
All right. That resolution carries. And on to departmental reports. Sheriff's report.
There I am. Well, we obviously talked about pretty much everything I had as far as dogs was an issue. I came down the other day. It wasn't an issue that I had. I'd seen history there. Dog was on a leash. She said it wasn't. It broke off. She switched it out. It was staying on a leash. Didn't seem aggressive at standing there by it. So then the other was the speed report. You guys got a copy of that there. I thought the speeds are actually, the average speed of 25 come through town. So you have the outlier of 64. And like I said, hard to say if that was one of us coming around, emergent coming into town there, because it was on this side of town over here. Hard to say, or it could be a kid, you know, with the high scores.
It definitely looked much better than it did last night.
About 10,000 cars coming through in a week is a lot. There for six days.
Yeah, cut the buses all the way now.
10,000 in 6 days. That was also the last week of school.
18. Yeah, that's outgoing again. I don't know, it sounds like you guys are doing something in Baldwin, but that was another area that I'm trying to talk to the night shift deputies in charge of, put over there. That's kind of the area that's.
It's going to be a much bigger issue when the road construction is complete.
I'm sure it'll be,
So.
we've sat out there, actually, me personally and other deputies on afternoon sat out there trying to get, and we weren't getting much out there. People all burned out. We were trying to sit around the area too, and just didn't get much, whether they're missing them or they see us. We weren't getting a whole lot of action out there.
Right now, more than 20 mile an hour cause car damage, so.
Yeah. You know,
In the sheriff's report, was there an outlier about a number of hours at a particular location?
It's over there.
Hasn't happened to me yet, but I thought I heard you mentioning it.
We had one of the reports for one of the locations. I believe it was considered,
Violation.
it was a violation. It said 7.5 hours or something was spent at a residence. Was that just?
is violation like no contact order or what? It could be something that someone got put on it and it got put back on hold, then it cleared. If it's put on the beginning shift and it sat there, so it kind of registered as that time.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly how the reports are pulled, but
So it's one of
What
those
was it?
things we're kind of little up in the air about, where many of the communities had conversations with the sheriff
Mhm.
earlier in the year in regards to the number of hours spent. That when we get a report like this that shows that we spent 7 hours at a house in town, doesn't necessarily truly reflect the hours that are being spent.
it could be, I don't know the call, but it could be they had a mental or something, they took someone to the hospital and sat on for a while, it just, is that logging that call? I honestly, I'm not sure, I have to look that up, and I could do that, call with Deb tomorrow on it, but I'm not sure what that call is. You know what the date on it was?
April 20. Let's see the sheriff's report, please.
You can't keep it.
Okay.
Yes, and then that,
Just- Okay.
it was April 23rd. Started at almost 2 o'clock.
In the afternoon?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look up, see what it is, like I said, it's hard to say without looking at it to see what the call would be, but
The only other thing I had is, did you guys check our city buildings for us?
I know our night crew will walk down the main towns a lot of times at night and check doors, but what do you mean as far as?
Can you have to drive by and check the back door, shine your flashlight, make sure your deadbolt's on, those types of things?
Honestly, our
All
night,
the different buildings?
usually our night shift does that a lot of towns to help
Yep.
stay awake at 3 a.m. They'll go and walk down, so.
Okay.
Are you having issues or just?
Nope, just wanted to ask and make sure
Okay.
that's on the list of things that are being helped out.
I can send an email, but like I said, I know a lot of them do it at night, and when I was on nights, I did the same thing.
Yep.
Just to get out of your car and start walking around, as you go, just kind of walk down, check doors, and you
It's
find them
nice.
randomly. You might maybe get calls in the middle of the night and find a door open, so.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking for. We'd rather know that they're secured, so.
Yep.
Cool. Anybody else have anything? Yeah, there's
I did
the,
get several
Okay,
people
sorry.
complaining about that silver or black Mustang or whatever it is,
Mustang?
sports car.
I'm not familiar with this one.
I don't know, it's been racing up and down in the park
Okay,
in the afternoon.
in the afternoons. Do you have a time range?
She didn't say,
Okay, silver Mustang.
yeah, that's what she said it was.
And there's a sports bike about around 9 o'clock every night.
Okay.
Heads out on 210 towards Collins.
Yep.
Hits it pretty hard.
Does it accelerate out of town there? Okay.
Is it a red one?
Who is it?
Blue.
You know?
Blue?
I've tried to step out on my deck to see if I can see it when I start hearing it wind up.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. By the time I get out there, it's
Too late.
too late.
Oh.
I thought about going out and sitting out there corner just waiting for him. But
Yeah, I don't know, yeah, I mean, that's pretty common amongst all our towns, is speeders here and there, and we obviously try to get around and do as much speed enforcement as we can, so. If there's times like that, 9 o'clock is easy to, if someone's come home from work and consistently do it, it's easy, compared to afternoons could be 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, we just,
yeah.
there's usually stuff going on, you've seen meetings, I couldn't come last month, I had someone else come for me, so. We try to get around as much as we can.
once in a while, he does it around 6:30, but most times it's
Okay.
about 9 o'clock.
Appreciate it.
Yep,
Thank you
absolutely.
much.
He's winding up about the time he leaves me a client for you.
Have a good
Be
night.
safe.
Thank you.
You hear him too, huh?
Mhm.
I think
We go by around.
Yeah, because even the librarian said something the other day when I was talking about it.
I hear him.
Alright. On to the fire report. 3 calls, 30 people. Indian Township had 2. Mutual aid was 1. Injuries and accidents was none. No maintenance needed. No special events, and nothing for the city to do. On to EMS, unless anybody else has anything else on fire. EMS for the month of May had 8 page outs. Maxwell responded to 8, 1 to 4 EMS personnel, 1 to 2 fire person assist, 1 in the city of Maxwell, 4 in Indian Township, 3 in Washington Township. They had 9 in attendance for the monthly meeting. The monthly truck check was completed. The CQI was completed by Story County. Vehicle maintenance needs are none and nothing needed from the city. The meeting minutes had no visitors. They welcomed a new member. Talked about some training, some replenishments from Story County, and then concerns about ambulance deferred calls to Polk County. Looks like that's the extent. On to library. They had 5 in attendance at the last meeting, 244 total books, 79 movies, 254 in attendance, 95 children, 133 adults, 12 in the movie attendance, 14 in the activity attendance. Bridges had 206 total with 92 on hold. Computers was 3 adult use and 48 children. Current events, and that is now finished. Electa stepped into assistant duties for the summer, and then we'll focus to finding an official replacement. Seats assignment on the board have changed. Please see the May agenda. Friends Group is planning a family barbecue night, June 7th, 5:30 to 8 at the park. Stop by for a meal. We'd love to see everybody. That is Friday. Mr. Rivethy's B class will be June 19th at 5:30. Purchasing items to complete the building upgrades is continued. It is still looking for board members. Upcoming events is a summer reading planning, the tween reading program in July, updating website training, and painting book return. I need a temporary book drop. I'd like to invite the council to read chapter 9, board relationship with director, staff, and the city. Link is attached to the
Is there anything in chapter 9 which they feel is not being followed?
She didn't say anything to me.
Because it all looked pretty straightforward, that things that we already do.
I know I haven't read it yet.
I don't see any issues. Their board of trustees was May 16th meeting. They updated the board of trustee application, provided it to the city. Friends board having summer barbecue. ADA compliant spaces. No grants. 15 minutes of training on the chapter 9 relationship with the city and director. Vote to discuss bills and the budget. Obtaining electric quote for the new lighting. Reviewed material to purchase with remaining budget. and reviewing pay. Open board seats. And we have a couple people that are interested. They're in a repost.
I did get one application for a board. It's a person outside of town. So I believe you have to approve and the Board of Supervisors have to approve.
Yes.
And we can have 2 out-of-towners, I believe.
The library board has a minimum of 3 resident members and a maximum of 2 non-resident. And so we could have a minimum of 5 trustees. Or we have 5 trustees, we could have 4 resident and 1 non-resident.
We already have 1 non-resident.
And so this would be the second non-resident, which would be permitted by code. So we would have to approve and ask the Board of Supervisors. We would approve the name and refer it to the Board of Supervisors for their approval.
Is that something we can do now since we have an application? It's one more application than we've had.
Well, it's part of the minutes of the library board that they need a member. And what do you think, Deb? Could we ask, refer the name to the Board of Supervisors for their approval?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Excellent.
Second.
Excellent. Further discussion?
Who is it?
Do we need a name?
Jill Leonard, she's been a board member before.
Okay.
So it's nothing new for her.
And then once the Board of Supervisors does their thing, does it come back here for us to approve?
I don't think so.
It's implied approval, but we're sending it on.
Yeah, if we're sending it on, we're giving approval.
Non-resident members are to be appointed by the mayor with the approval of the county board of supervisors. So once the county board of supervisors has approval, then you have the responsibility to appoint.
All right. Thank you for the clarification, Steve. Do we need to vote on that motion?
Yeah. So, yes.
Sue? Doug?
Yep.
Joel?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. On to Public Works. Streets, you got a price on the box blade or slash grader blade. Percentage of the use for the skid loader would be 50% streets, 30% parks, 10% water, 10% sewer. That was something we asked for in the last meeting.
Those will be the numbers that we use in next year's budget preparation.
Parks have price to replace the downlight pole. Park restroom facelift is done. Water, we pumped 2 million gallons. We sold 1.3. Hydrants have been flushed. Had and repaired broken water main on the north end of Maxwell Street. sewer would pump to almost 2 million gallons of rainwater, most likely. And fire station, they also have a price to fix the gutters on the fire station. That was an awful lot of rainwater to pump to the
Gosh,
sewer.
yes, 7 million.
And part of that would have been the main water too.
Yeah, some of that main water would have run down in the sewer. We had that water main break, which probably was in the neighborhood of about 200,000 to 300,000 gallons. But that's still 7 million gallons from 2 million gallons of pumped water is a long way away.
Yeah,
360% of what we pump.
and that was
is
the
what we
monthly,
treat.
Yeah,
monthly
so
number.
we're typically at like 3.5. Have been
Normally
around.
double, yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
double what we.
But Woodlawn was flooded during that time.
And Woodlawn was flooded.
And
Woodlawn
so-
was under.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
we
'cause
had,
We know we have issues with some I&I and Woodlawn. We've had that since we did the sewer lining project. So it's possible that some of that got in there.
Is that pump at Woodlawn that goes to the sewer?
No, it's down there off First and Woodlawn.
it's across the.
It's across the stream actually, and then
Gotcha.
pumps up to the plant.
and so when it was out, it was over the top of one of the manholes.
Yeah, it would have been.
Oh, absolutely. I've got pictures, you want to see something?
I couldn't drive down the street anyway.
So something, I don't know that we've ever done it, we probably should look at it. We might have done it back when we did the sewer project, but would be to take a look at our manholes that are down there that we know that we're underwater. And see a couple things we want to look at. I can talk to Tony about it too, and see if we've got the old fashioned vented lids on them. Or if we've got sealed, bolted down lids. So if they're vented lids, that's water just going right in when they're underwater. And that's a pretty easy fix to get the different castings. I say easy, it still costs a little money to swap those out, but it's
Pumping less water.
it is, you're pumping less water. Cost wise, I think it's an easy way to reduce if that's one of your infiltration locations.
We'll definitely see that next month's water bill or electric bill.
Yeah.
Running
I'll follow up with Tony if that's the right person to follow up to, and just kind of give some pointers to what things we might want to look for. And not just in that area, but even all over town. But that area would be a high one. If we knew it was underwater and we've got vented manholes. Or sometimes even when they're underwater, the manhole can float. You wouldn't think it, but a cast iron, if the sewer surcharge underneath, they can float a little bit and it'll just go right in. So.
Thank you. On to the city clerk. Budget amendment was completed and turned in. She seems to think we have too many meetings. That's all I want.
We've had 17 of them so far this year.
Ready for cleanup day, dumpsters for stuff, 3 dumpsters, and 1 dumpster for metal and appliances, and a lot of dog complaints. I think we beat the dogs to death today. No pun intended.
Maybe some should be.
Definitely not with her.
Treasurer's report. Anything outstanding, which is outstanding. Treasurer's report. Further discussion on the city clerk?
This is the last report for the fiscal year. And we have 2 funds which are negative. One is the removal of trees, and the other is the storm sewer capital project report. Both of those could be wiped out to zero with a transfer from local option sales tax. Do we have the budget capacity to do that before the end of the fiscal year? You might want to check that out before our next meeting in 2 weeks. And if we do, put a resolution on authorizing the transfer.
I thought the trees were included in the budget amendment. I thought we included both of those in the budget amendment.
For the parks area. Not for capital improvements.
So the trees is done, just needs to be moved. Is that right? From parks to trees?
No.
No.
The budget went into the parks area, not capital improvement. Let me look into this, see if we'll have enough to move across.
I mean, we're close enough to the end of the fiscal year that we should be able to see if there's, approximately $4,000 of flex someplace that would allow that transfer to be done without doing a budget amendment.
We don't have time to do a budget amendment anyway.
Right. So we either do it
Yeah. let me
before the
look.
end of the fiscal year, or we do it next fiscal year.
See where I can do it at.
Okay, thank you. Can we rename funds?
Yeah.
Because 611 will never be 2015 sewer rehab ever again. But we are going to be using it for sewer capital projects, using it as a savings account for capital projects over and above, like the manholes and things like that. And our budget does have money in a line item that would be moved to a capital account. We just don't have it named yet, apparently.
Yep, I can change it.
And 301 and 302, 301 is the Baldwin
Is
Capital
Baldwin.
Improvement Project, which makes it a little bit clearer than Capital Project Fund.st. I mean, it's going to be the Baldwin Capital Improvements Project, and the Capital Fund 302 Capital Fund Project -STOR. Well, that's the 5th Street Drain CIP, which may make it easier for the council to follow if we can rename.
What did you want 211 to be?
I want what?
611, sorry.
Oh, 611, just sewer CIP.
Okay.
Anything else, Steve?
Nope.
All right, on to the engineer. Wes?
All right. Quick update summary, Baldwin Street reconstruction, we actually had that hearing already. Good bids. I was very excited about that, with the 5 bidders. So, last couple things, that are, kind of outstanding on that one. The final funding determination, I don't know if you guys have any actions that you're doing on the geo bonding, but making sure, that's all in place. I think there's some emails going around, Doug and Steve, here I just got now. So I'll get you some information on that Woodlawn stuff to help factor into that. The contract award, I sent the mayor and Deb kind of a synopsis of the next steps, so hopefully that makes sense. The DOT process is somewhat cumbersome, like we talked, but that there's a flow chart there, and just one thing is let us know when you get that Doc Express transition to award. It's a weird thing, they call it transitioning. When you get that done, let us know, and Spencer will help walk through the rest of it.
Sure.
Because then that gives us access to everything, because it's transition, we can get in there. So we can help walk you through all that. Water treatment plant. So we submitted the intended use plan application for that one. What that is that's a step in the process for using the SRF funding for the backwash filter discharge. So that was submitted ahead of the June 1st deadline, so that's out there. We are looking to submit also the P&D loan application for you guys, which follows after that. You'll probably be here this week. What that will allow you to do is a 0% interest loan that basically you can get reimbursed for planning and design costs. Our costs will have it ahead of the construction loan, and then when come time to do the project and close the loan, those costs just get rolled into the construction loan. So it gives you a 0% loan for however long until we build the project. So pretty good deal. So we'll get that application in as well. The design is pretty much done there with the original plan, but we were looking at some alternatives we talked about last month. There were some issues with it, so I had to go back and change some things. So I don't have that for you yet, but you will be getting that soon.
Before you move on.
Yeah.
The trail will be paved this summer.
Yep.
And the pipe that we're going to be putting into the manhole is going to cross the trail. And if they pave the trail, does that increase the cost of us putting in the pipe?
I don't believe so. As I can check it here. I believe we're coming up the west side of Maine. We looked at coming up the east side where the trail is going to be, and up the west side. So we're still going to cross it on the west side, but it's going to be. Oh no, you're right. We will cross it still.
The trail will be there
because the trail crosses there. I know we were avoiding a lot more of the trail by going on the west side of the road, I believe. So I'll also say with the plans, but yes, potentially we could. If we don't get it worked out to do some cooperation, depending on how the schedules work, it really should only be a panel or two of the trail. So it's going to be a pretty small area.
And so is it going to be better to have them just put gravel for a small stretch so that when we come in, we aren't breaking up the concrete and then concrete it?
We can look at what that timeline is. If it's going to be a year before we get in there, I wouldn't put gravel in. Might as well just put pavement in. If it's going to be shortly thereafter, we might do some gravel like that. My guess is we're not going to be to that point because we don't have to have ours built until 2027. So there's no hurry on our work other than just to get it done. So and we've got to go through, now that we've got the IUP in, there's a big process with the DNR. They'll come out and do a site survey. They have to do all their environmental clearances, and any good deal on money, there's strings attached. So so they have to do all that. So that schedule could get drug out a little bit. I'll talk with Spencer though and see what he where he's thinking when they're going to be in there. My guess is they're going to be in there early enough that we should just not worry about it.
If we're going to be on the west side of 210, will we be boring under 210?
Yes.
Yeah. So could we possibly bore under the light trail?
It's possible. Yeah. It's certainly possible. At that point, I would say
they're going to be here anyway.
I would say whichever's going to be cheapest.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And some contractors with those small diameter lines like this one's going to be, some contractors, they just prefer to bore the whole thing. Because once they got their machine here to get on the road, they just say, oh, I don't have to seed anything. I don't have to do anything. And we've actually had prices that are cheaper to tunnel trenchless than to open cut. So it's possible that it could be. We'll probably bid that as a contractor's option, except for where we tell them they have to do it by tunneling. That way it gives different contractors their preference.
Okay.
But it's certainly a possibility. Yep. I'm gonna make a note of that here to talk with Spencer. Okay. The Woodlawn, that one is ready to come to you, but I had some questions on that one, mainly with the cost, and I want to make sure we got a cost-effective design. So I'm having to take a look at a couple things, but we will be getting you that one here soon too. Rock Creek Ridge Estates, that one seems to be moving quickly, with potential positive. I mean, quicker than the previous developers, right, Doug? So
We've never got this far.
We've never got this far. So yeah, that developer is actively working with some of their funding assistants. We'll see if the momentum carries, but it's positive looking. They have retained our services from our development group for the design of the subdivision. I did talk with Mayor previously and just wanted to be transparent with everybody, because I will be reviewing the plat for compliance and all that from what we do. So it could be construed as a conflict of interest with our company doing also the design. So I want to get it, like I said, be transparent. Essentially, I'm in our water resources group with a development background. But in our water resources group, our development group operates independent. I hardly ever see those guys. So the way we've set this up is that design is all them. They can ask me questions, but I'm not going to direct the design. I'm not going to be any part of it. My review will be totally fiduciary is not the right word, but to you guys. And we've done it before, and I get grief from my development guys. Man, you're hard on me. Well, that's good job. So, but like I said, transparent. If you have concerns with that, let me know. So we still have an obligation to you guys through our, and actually, Mayor, we talked about, we've never actually had a formal general services engineering agreement. It's always just kind of been how it was when I took over. We just you ask us and we do it. So one of the things that Mayor brought up was, with this, it might be prudent to have a written agreement that clarifies, and then it's all documented. I think it makes sense. And actually, my accounting department is hammering on us all these old handshake agreements we've got with a lot of different communities. We need to get paperwork on. Oh man, it's a hassle. But in this case, it might be to everybody's benefit, so it's clear what we're doing, what our role is for you guys, and what their role is for that firm. So I rambled on a lot there, but like I said, just in the interest of transparency, let you know that they have asked us to do the design on that. Separate group, separate division in our company. But let me know if you have concerns with that.
And like you said, that was kind of my thought process on that. As long as we make it aware, we're not hiding anything. We're explaining to you guys and explaining, and then also getting that written in our service agreement that your primary focus is on us, and that's a separate piece of your operation.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
So that's moving. We'll, like I said, hopefully that momentum will stay there and go. We did have a meeting this morning. Was it this morning? Yeah,
Yes.
Kind of a call that I sat in on. It's been a long day. Call that I sat in on. They asked for, from the city's perspective, what are some of the concerns or issues that we might have with the design. So I shared some of the back history of things we've had issues with in the past, questions that have come up with as far as, is there a road connection to the property to the north? We talked about, we don't want a connection to North Street because North Street's very narrow and we don't want to put more traffic on there, plus the grades don't really work out. Things like if they're going to do a phased construction, we need to have a temporary turnaround if there's a dead end. They've got to build the roads to connect to Rock Creek Drive, even though there's no lots running there in front of the water tower and on the other end. That's part of the requirements. So we went through a few of those things. So they're aware of those, but.
I wasn't on call.
Okay, that's right, Doug was on. Yeah. And we went over a couple more things, but.
They're not gonna do any fourplexes at this point.
Right,
They
just
did
by
specify that. By attached and single family, 3-bed, 2-bath, as we talked before. I don't think there were any surprises. It was a short meeting, and they're gonna have another one in the week of the 17th to kind of go through some things, but yeah. I think they seem to be moving, and
Yep. Oh, and the other question that's gonna come up is roadway section. Curb and gutter with sidewalk, no curb and gutter, ditch, no storm sewer. So that's gonna be, we mentioned that's gonna be a topic of discussion. Obviously, a lot of the town doesn't have sidewalks, so the sidewalk makes sense. Rock Creek Ridge or Rock Creek Drive doesn't have any storm sewer, it's ditched. So that'll be some questions that will have to be raised. Knowing that there's a balance there between developing with sidewalk and storm sewer ups the cost, which sometimes can tip the scales on whether development even makes sense financially for them. And so if it ends up being too costly, they won't do it, they'll walk away. But at the same time, I think, Mayor, you mentioned it at one of our previous meetings, but you still have to live, we have to live with it, and we don't want to have it live with a lemon.
Yep.
So,
Or a dirt road.
So, or dirt road, right, which will be a lemon. So that'll be some topics that will probably be pertinent to the city's input when they get to that point of submitting something.
And on that south 12 acres, they're looking at dealing with the west 7 acres.
Mm-hmm.
So the west half of it is going to be their focus in the beginning.
Yep.
Which would be the portion
Water
where the
tower.
road goes past the water tower.
Water tower,
Correct.
And that would be a cul-de-sac on that first phase.
Temporary cul-de-sac, yeah.
So,
And yes, there would be a connection required between that and the land to the north. Even if it's not developed, they will have to provide access for it.
and that was one of the things that Doug, you mentioned as a city preference. The original preliminary plat did not have a connection to the north. It had a loop road that went over and connected back to Rock Creek Ridge.
The original from the 90s,
Yes, I believe so.
the preliminary plat from the 90s.
Let me confirm that I'm not.
I think, my recollection was that there was one.
There's been so many versions of this throughout the years that.
I did mention today while you're looking that up.
Yeah.
That access to the north is critical. We have emergency help coming in from Nevada or somewhere. There needs to be some way to get in without going clear through and around the loop.
Yeah.
Plus the danger of down by senior housing, that is not a good place to pull out. And we would be doubling or tripling the number of cars through there if we didn't have a north access.
Yeah. So the original one had that, but this was never built. You guys aren't tied to this. This was never platted. So it's, yeah, that's nice, but
But it would be
1990, right? So the world's a different place.
Yep.
So, but it'll be a topic of discussion. So just preparing that those questions are coming. Probably fairly quickly. Story County Heart of Iowa Trail. I'm loosely in the know on this one. It looks like they're underway. They've got trees cleared out there already, and they have completed the revision to avoid the memorial trees, and are just looking to get an easement from I believe it's Plunkett. Is it Ryan Plunkett?
Right.
Ryan Plunkett, yeah, to be able to do that. And so at mayor's direction, we're helping coordinate that, and our right-of-way guys should be, sounds like it's positive that it won't be an issue, so they're putting together the documents to do that.
was it?
Didn't that go through? Or they
Well,
pushed back?
they've
Yeah.
committed to no cost easement, and and they've asked that we permit a bench to be put up in Brad's honor, or in memory of Brad.
The bonus to this adjustment, it's a bigger picture, was a bigger concern in the councils where we were talking about crossing on the south side. This moves it
Towards town.
Towards town. This brings us right to the edge of town where we're past the curve. You're completely past the curve. You're on the straightaway coming into town now. So there was a bigger picture philosophy behind trying to move it towards this direction.
There was some win-win-win there for yeah. So we're putting together the documents for that easement, and you guys have done the legwork for getting the okay on it.
But all the work for that, appreciate it.
Yeah, so that should be coming soon to have that that change made. And the other two things on there are just things that are holdovers, and the engineering services obviously is going to come to more of a prudent issue with the stuff coming up, so we'll be getting that to you. And then we're still putting together some recommendations for potentially getting some help on the water treatment plant. So
Going back to the woodland, not woodland stormwater, but the Baldwin Street reconstruction. There is, you mentioned that you were looking at some alternatives
yeah,
to the stormwater outlet.
Yeah, out of the conversation with Christensen. Yes, and I have those numbers. I wanted to refine something on them, and so it's same situation as the other treatment plant I needed.
Now, the bid had some of the Fifth Street storm sewer construction costs in it as part of the 1.3 million.
Yep.
But that was inlets and a pipe to about where Tracy's driveway is.
Well,
Crossing Fifth
yeah,
to
further
the
past,
south side.
past the end of Fifth Street is where that pipe gets you to.
Yeah.
So
So that is part of the 1.3. And what
Correct.
you're looking at is where do we take it from there?
right.
Which
Yeah.
would be an additional cost, possibly.
Right.
And so the entire project may be closer to the 1.5 that we originally had.
If that's the option taken, yeah, right, yeah. So right now we're discharging just to the low area, which is where it goes today. But there was some discussion, there has been discussions on improving that outlet and taking it further to the creek. Originally, we had looked at an open channel across the Christensen property to the park area to get to the creek. Then we also discussed taking it on out the Fifth Street right away, all the way to the creek. Has its own issues, and so we're putting together some costs for what those different alternatives might be.
You will have those numbers in, because
Yeah.
I went down there today and did some
Okay.
measuring.
Yeah.
We're 740 feet to the gate, which is kind of already in the modified area.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there's another 460 feet roughly. And it looks to me to be doable. If you haven't gone down there, I know you've walked,
Yeah.
I can't. There's 20 foot of drop from what my limited things can say from the gate, from the fence, that last 400 feet. And I've taken pictures every so often. There is a wide enough swath there. You wouldn't have to take out any major trees. And an open trench, in my mind, would be the least expensive. And I think we need to get some numbers. And
Yeah.
hope that that is the direction we get.
And there was even some discussion on piping it all that way too. And so what we're looking at is the piping costs all the way and then open cut
And as
costs.
well as open, okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I've
One
got
of
some
the
stuff there.
things that Tracy brought up when he talked to the city was the dam that had been created at the city park between his property and the city park. When we went in and tore down some houses or something, we left a mound of dirt there so that his property does not drain the way it used to and creates a little lake. Does anybody else remember this, him talking about that?
Up there at the Legion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this would be something that we could take care of with city equipment, going out there with the backhoe, and, it's a big enough piece of equipment that we'd be able to at least open a channel and smooth it out. And I was wondering if we had done anything in that regard or not. Maybe you weren't at the meeting and hadn't heard about
I
it.
wasn't at the meeting, we're aware of it. If it's something that we need to give the direction to have them do it, then we'll do it. It's not a problem.
I think regardless of what we choose on Fifth Street, if we had inadvertently created a problem where the water was backing up on his property, then we should resolve that.
I agree. Can you show me where so I can tell, or can you show Tony so?
Wasn't Tony at the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so Tony should be aware,
Okay. I'll check with him.
and they can pick the low spot and open it up and then reseed if necessary, whatever. I mean, it sounded like it would be maybe removing a foot of dirt or something. Didn't sound like it was gonna be a big deal.
Yeah.
I'll check with him. That's it for
That's
you?
all I have.
Excellent, thank you. Anybody else have any questions for Wes? Concerns? All right, on to Parks and Open Spaces. Parks and Open Spaces did not meet in May. Report ongoing activities. Still need a photo of the inclusive swing used for our grant report. If anyone has any young people that would like to be in the photo, please let Jody know. The thank you sign to donors is ready to go. 2 trees of the 12 trees from the 1 million trees. The Land, Energy, and Trees Forever grant have now been staked to protect from wind damage. Jody has spoken with Collins Maxwell School staff to remind them of the need to water. Check about finding buckets for passive watering. The school would just need to fill the 5-gallon buckets of water with the trees. Paint out a beautiful grant project. Understand that 4-H Club has already begun to scrape paint. Check with the, I don't know what that one stands for, I gotta say it. Tree board about scheduling an opening of the.
You make up something good to that.
Yeah,
Park open space.
thank you. We should not use the acronym. Opening of the project to publicize and celebrate the beginning of work. Anyone who signs the volunteer liability waiver is free to scrape paint anytime. Signs are ready to post and let people know what is going on. Hard to buy a bike trail work has started. Trees are being cleared where necessary for the 10-foot wide trail. As soon as Story County conservation work is completed, we can begin on new trail enhancements. And I know that is a concern for residents, as I got another email yet today for concerned citizens in regards to the damage to habitat.
Kind of a threatening email,
Yes.
but clarifying.
But yes, there is trees and habitat area being removed for this project, but there's also plans in the works to rebuild and retree and reseed and include betterments along that trail piece after the construction is completed. So
I have to agree in part with the person. It's a wonderfully shaded trail,
it is.
but to put a 10-foot paved path and a 10-foot apron on either side, so that you have 30-foot wide as opposed to what we have today,
Which in places is 8 foot.
means you're gonna have to take out a few trees, but there's gonna be a lot of trees left.
I heard a lot of them being knocked down behind my place.
Yeah.
That's safe.
I think Jody's wrong. There were 3 trees of the 12 that were staked because my back confirmed
3.
that we did 3.
All right.
So,
Well, thank you for your work.
Yeah.
And your back. All right, on to business. Discussion and action on tobacco permit for Dollar General.
second,
Further discussion.
yes.
It says, retail information, don't they sell vapes down there?
This is not for tobacco permit of vapor. This is only a cigarette tobacco. So if they do sell vape, they will not be authorized to sell such.
No, this, at the top, it says to apply for a retail permit to sell cigarettes, tobacco, alternative nicotine, or vapor
They
products.
didn't-
Then you mark it down.
Select it.
Yeah, they didn't check down
So they
here.
won't be able to do it.
They will not be able to sell vapor products.
Okay. That'll make a lot of people happy.
That was their company's choice.
Okay, I missed totally who
I'm sorry?
motioned and who.
Doug so moved.
Steve second.
Steve second.
Okay.
Further discussion? Hearing none. Sue?
I'm gonna say no because I think they're making a big mistake by not doing that, but
By
It's
not
okay.
doing what?
that, I think there's probably a mistake on there.
All right. Joel?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
The motion carries. On to discussion and action on bid for the ball diamond lights.
When will the work be done?
Well, that would be dependent on when we approve this.
Well, in any case, whenever the work's done, it won't be billed until next year, right?
Correct.
Because we won't approve the check until July sometime. So move approval with costs coming out of parks ground maintenance.
Second.
Further discussion? The only question I had is, that was a storm damage. Do we want to use that fund or do we want to use emergency funds?
Yeah, when we get the bill, then it needs to be accounted in ground maintenance, and then we could move money to help pay for it. We shouldn't be paying directly out of emergency, I don't believe.
Okay.
Would, have we ever paid directly out of the emergency fund, Deb?
Not out of the trust, no.
Okay.
Makes sense. Thank you. Further discussion? Joel?
Yes.
Ken?
Yeah.
Doug? Sue?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
That motion carries. Discussion and action on bid for gutters on the fire station.
Move approval.
Second.
Further discussion?
Yes, the fire station houses both fire department and EMS. And so it should come out of both budgets. And probably the fairest way to do that would be amount of square footage, percentage of square footage that each one occupies in the building. And so if we could get that information when we go to pay the bill, and this again would come out of repair and maintenance of the building, but we would prorate it between fire and EMS, which means the townships will be paying a portion of it.
We've always done 80-20 because
I was gonna say,
That's
No.
where I was just about to
this
say.
depends on how many doors is.
I was gonna say,
Four
you know,
doors.
4 doors,
80
we
is
can
a
do
percent.
75, 25,
80 fire, 20
20.
EMS.
I think
That's fine. That's all I needed.
I think that's appropriate
Yeah.
measurement or estimation.
That's what all the bills are usually split like that.
Great.
Thank you. Further discussion? Ken?
Yeah.
Sue?
Yes.
Joel?
Yes.
Doug? Steve?
Yes.
That motion carries. To discussion and action on permit for old settlers. request for the Iowa Department of Transportation to close 210 from 40 Main Street to 500 Main Street, 10 a.m. on August 3rd, ending at 11:30 a.m. on August 3rd. Broad Street to Metcalf Street to 5th Street would be the detour.
Broad to Metcalf. To Fifth.
We always do.
So, yeah, we've never had a problem in the past. But the parade turns at Broad also. So there might be, they just have to be careful that there isn't any oncoming traffic.
Right.
Okay.
Helpful piece.
So we make the parade turn the opposite direction?
It's Saturday.
Usually the problem with that is they all form up at the school.
Starts at the
And so
school.
if they turn that way, then they're gonna have to come back across
Cross 210.
210, which would probably cause just as much problem. It's worked in the past. Move approval.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none. Sue? Joel?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Ken?
Yeah.
On to discussion and action on printer rental contract.
Move approval.
Second.
Further discussion?
We, according to Deb, we're saving around $10 a month by getting the new one, right?
Yeah, and on the new one, they're giving us more copies too.
Great.
And ease of making copies.
And will the new one not have this irritating line on the side of all copies?
I hope so.
Okay.
Or it can print the whole thing on the budget, so I know when 6/11, it doesn't look like 11.
Sounds great.
Further discussion?
We just want it to print faster so we're not spending 2 hours printing bills.
Yep, I can understand that.
Steve?
Yes.
Joel?
Yes.
Ken?
Yep.
Doug? Sue?
Yes.
Motion carries. Discussion action on alcohol licenses for Nick's Tipsy Trailers and Lucky Wife Wine Slushies.
Say that times twice.
Now, these are different premises. So they're separate
Separate.
alcohol and beverage
We want to do one at a time.
items. And one of them says that its premises is Second and Army Post, which puts it where? It's actually going to be at Second and Army Post.
No, it's probably going to be on the bandstand.
Okay, when the Old Settlers does their permit at the bandstand, what address do they use? Something or other, Old
Old
Settlers
Settlers
Way.
Drive.
Yeah. And so these are at the same location, but the premises addresses are different.
Yeah.
I think that's confusing and that, I move approval of the, Nick's Tipsy Trailer alcohol and beverage, license, with the, provision that we notify them that next year their address their premises should be whatever we have for the, bandstand down there.
But it doesn't even have to be next year, because it's only for a few days, June 23rd to June 27th.
I think this is,
So their next,
they'll be doing another one in July, so.
now
Yeah.
this is gonna create a little bit of a problem for them and alcohol and beverage, but if we send a letter saying that this premises address, should, not be used in the future, and this other one should be used, then hopefully that'll resolve.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? Joel?
I just, the last month we had kind of the same issue on one that was okay, we did it. But now all of a sudden we're gonna make changes on this one before we have to approve it again.
Well, that'll be the next one.
Future.
This one will go ahead and approve the way it is.
This is only for 4 days.
I mean, so the next one that says 100 Army Post, is that a correct address, or, I mean,
Well,
what?
I was gonna ask where 100 Army Post was. I believe that's the
The rodeo.
rodeo grounds.
And the mailing address shouldn't be that either, because there's no post office.
Yeah, they,
Sue? Sorry,
But that's
yeah, brother.
on the tipsy trailer,
yes,
yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Joel,
Yes,
Ken,
Yeah,
Steve.
yes.
so I see on this next one, the mailing address and premises is the same.
Yeah,
Is that where her mailing address is?
I don't think so.
no,
Just gonna guess. But we could call her and find out.
I don't think anybody's living down there.
I hope not. I did make some sheep last year.
but there again, isn't it just for 5 days? And she'll have to do it again, then the next time around.
Well, what 5 days
July
does this
12th.
cover?
July 12th, July 17th.
And so,
We have a meeting before that time. If you guys want to correct one, now's the time to do it.
Mailing address,
Force her to correct it, adjust it
yeah.
before you improve it. That'd be an option. They should be contacting the city in regards to defining the location of where they want to be. Because there was some that came in here with a map specifically showing exactly where it's going to be. And if they want to bring in an application to be on a movable trailer that's going to be selling alcohol, then they should specify exactly where it's going to be.
what
Well,
address does the Market in the Park use for when they say they're gonna be down there?
We'd have to look at our last.
I mean, 'cause if they're saying that they're 100 main, or 100 Army Post is what they're saying is the entire area, I mean,
the Market in the Park uses Second and Army Post, I think.
which is what the
Because
first one said.
they get the whole park.
Right.
Which is different than a location on the little jaunt through the park, which is that an extension?
That's Old Settlers
That's on
Road, right?
Settlers Road, yeah.
So is there an address for the church stand on Old Settlers Road?
Yeah.
There is?
Yeah.
Then, I mean, that's pretty close to where they're gonna be. That would be probably the
There's
best
also
address.
one for the
For
bandstand.
Bandstand too.
Yeah,
So-
so every year when I
So the
did
one,
the,
whatever you got for the bandstand is what I think everybody should be using.
And I think we need to communicate that with
Every-
Lauren and
Yeah, with Lauren,
to-
with
so that when
Old
she
Settlers, with
contracts with these
Nikki,
people,
with-
they put the right one.
Well, my assumption was that they were gonna set up over in the rodeo. That's what they're applying for. Huh?
That's what Mom's.
Mom's is
Mom's is
over
going
across
over
the
the
street
radio.
in
Right.
a tractor pull area.
Yeah, tractor pull.
Yeah, that's,
Tractor pull area.
And
that has
they,
a different address.
they didn't have the 21 whatever street it's on. They didn't have that address in the application last time around,
And we told them to correct it, right?
did we?
I sent him a letter.
Okay.
And
And I haven't seen anything.
my assumption was.
To change the address, you said here to change the address to 21 Second Street.
Right.
We already approved it.
And the one at 100 Army Post Road means that they're gonna put their trailer on the rodeo grounds. Right? Is that what their intent was, Deb?
Well, if they put it on that side of the road, technically that would be the rodeo grounds.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're on the other side of the road, then that would be acceptable.
Did they talk to you about this at all?
No, these applications come from the state.
And when I was doing the Old Settlers one, I always included a map showing where the premises was, and I believe that is a requirement of, or it was a requirement at that
Yes.
time.
And they probably did. I just printed out the applications because we'd already did these the month before. They just resubmitted for new permits for this month. So I didn't print out everything again.
Okay. So you do have a map.
I would probably have to go into the system to get it, but they should have a map attached to these. Let me go look. I just didn't see why I had to print out all the same stuff again.
I agree. So I see the map for K on hers.
Let's table this specific one for the moment. We'll move on to discussion action on box plate.
Well, we can discuss it, but Deb's busy, so she'll have to go from the minutes.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll just wait.
We take a recess.
Yes. Anybody need a bathroom break? Getting close.
I'll let you mention it, I will.
See?
Even if you Google Maxwell State Park, it comes up with an address of First and Trotter.
Yeah, so Trotter's the one on the north side that runs across.
So I mean, even if somebody put First and Trotter, would they do wrong?
Because it would be
Yeah.
because it's the
It's
Maxwell
city
Park.
Yes, they would, because we would not issue
For the
a liquor permit for the entire park.
Trotter's the one right behind.
This whole settlers way to Fish and
Yes, Parkway.
Parkway. Because it doesn't show up on Google as a named street.
I know.
Yeah.
It is official because the city has named it.
Named it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of parkways.
Yeah.
Well, we could buy that street sign. Solve the problem. Have it paid.
And we could post addresses on the
Google.
shelter and the
Would you know?
bandstand.
A lot of them required to have what is a licensed for a registered property, but it has to have a ground.
We run into this problem a lot with trying to address for electric service of a non-property location, like we have flow meters for sewers. And so we have to do electric service there. And the American wants an address. It's out in the middle of nowhere. There's no address to anywhere. It's in the middle of a 40-acre piece. So we have to make something up.
Give you GPS coordinates.
Yeah.
But it's Deb's job to make up addresses for the city. So
So there you go.
But that one was made up before I got here.
which one, Old Settlers Way?
Yeah.
Huh. I was not aware of that.
Yes, so I got a listing of addresses of everything from Melissa, and that one was already in there.
1883.
There's New Settlers Road then.
That was a new one. Absolutely.
So did they have maps, Deb?
Yes, here's Nikki's.
Now the picnic tables.
That's Nikki. Which
That's
is
the Tipsy Trailer.
the lucky wife.
No,
No,
the
that's
other
Nick's Tipsy Trailers. First one.
Nicole.
And, yeah. Right, and this is the location for the address that we have as Old Settlers Way. And this is the map that I had done way back when. And the lucky wife is not at the 100 Army Post Road. It's at the same place as Old Settlers, which is whatever it is, Old Settlers Way. I think the state would want to know that the premises are the same and not three different premises.
Okay, so on Lucky Wife and Nikki's. Do you want the 101 Old Settlers Drive?
No, I want whatever Old Settlers is.
101 Old Settlers Drive.
Is that what it is? 101 Old Settlers Way? Okay.
That's what you put on in years, you know?
That's what you gave me years ago because somebody gave it to you. So 101. Wait a minute.
Old Settlers Drive.
Aren't the odd addresses on east-west streets on the
be on the north side or the
South side of the street?
north side of the street or
What is your
the east
address?
side. 518.
Huh?
518.
So you have
Even
an
on the
even
side.
number on the south side.
Pods are north.
Okay,
So
Okay. So 101 would be correct. It's an odd number on the north side of the street.
And then the mailing address needs to be changed to a strip.
Yes.
was that a motion to request them to adjust that one?
Yes,
Lucky wine slushies.
that they adjust the premises address and that the lucky wife provides a proper mailing address for the premise, for her business.
Nope, last year they put First Street and Trotter Boulevard.
What I said was that if you can get that's what the address is.
That's what I use
That-
for the
the-
toilet.
Gypsy
I was
trails.
looking at too much.
Well, I'm not drinking any wine.
Some of the best toilet water.
They should, the premises address should all be 101 Old Settlers. Because they're both on the,
Same place.
yeah. What is it, Old Settlers Way?
Drive.
It says there,
Drive?
That says way on the
this
map.
one says way.
That was your.
Right.
So is it
Well,
drive or is it way?
According to my official address thing here that my listing, it says Old Settlers Drive.
Okay. So I was wrong all those years, and that's fine.
Well, according to
Go back and
the
fix it.
one thing, it says Old Settlers Drive.
Okay. So both of these should be 101 Old Settlers Drive.
Can we approve them pending that change and not have to deal with it then again? Well, all the paper she has to print and all the time.
It'll be quicker with a new printer.
Printer. Shoot, fixes everything, fixes everything.
And I move approval of both permits with premises, address of premises being 101 Old Settlers Drive, and that Lucky Wife Wine Slushies permit get a correct their mailing address for their business.
Deb, would you do me a favor?
No, you guys are out of favor. Here's my cup. My cup.
Please let Lauren know that that would be the address that they need to use moving forward.
Okay.
Second.
Further discussion. Gosh, I hope not.
Laura, oh no.
Sue,
Yes.
Ken,
Yeah.
Joel,
Yeah,
Doug,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yes.
Thank you. Discussion and action on Fox Blade. So, Fox Blade or Graded Blade, there's two pieces of equipment here. The 960-03 double D or the HDGRB 960-96-03 double D. Both are 96 inches, both are heavy duty, one's a box blade, one's a grader box. The recommendation from the city public works director was the grader box. Is what they're asking for.
Heavy duty grader box at $3,584.
This would replace the grader
Broken
box that is busted.
And they are ready to get this and pick it up. And this would be billed and paid when?
Next year.
What?
It's okay with me.
Because I'm not sure that we have enough.
I just want to make sure that
It's
Uh,
right here.
when we authorize this, that the check is written in July. Okay. And earlier, we had a recommendation on how the cost is split up.
Yes. That was a
50,
cost.
30, 10, 10.
50, 30, 10, 10?
Yes. Well,
That was for
for the skid loader,
skid loader.
but we asked for a price on a box blade. The one was 90,000, the other is just under 5.
But wouldn't this box blade probably be used in the same percentages?
Yes.
Mostly on the road, and maybe a little bit on the other things.
I agree.
So move approval of the heavy-duty grader box with the costs being split at 50, 30, 10, 10.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Ken,
Yeah,
Sue? I'm sorry,
Yes.
Doug?
Yeah.
Joel?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes,
Motion carries.
Question or comment on that? We have put weights on our current one. Would that have maybe, we won't consider whether we need to do that or not, because that could put more strain on it and make it
void
not
of
last-
warranty.
void a warranty or make it not last as long. Because there are, what, 3 or 4 weights on there of probably 100 pounds each, or I don't know what the size, but we'll want to check into that before we do that.
Discussion on assignments for cleanup day.
Which
Cleanup day
is
is
not this
Saturday.
Saturday, but a week from Saturday?
This
This
Saturday.
That's a Saturday.
This Saturday. That's
Yeah.
what
It's
I-
the 8th.
So
Oh,
get-
that's right, the garage sale was last week.
So get your barbecue Friday night at the library and then come work Saturday morning.
It's the
Well,
park, it's not
At
the
the
library.
park.
I will be down there to help. I am having some back problems, so I won't be able to do a lot of lifting, but
We need
I
somebody
can
around
certainly
with some
applaud
cash.
other people who are lifting.
I will be there.
If I have to throw it up, I've got a problem, because I'll hit in the middle. I don't be able to get
And
They
I
are
was
very tall.
I
was
know.
told by a high school student that they would be there. It's Tom Welch's grandson.
He's not high school anymore.
He graduated.
He's been there many years.
Yes, he's come and helped every year and taken stuff home.
Playing a few things.
Oh,
You
yeah.
always find an easy chair to sit in while he's there.
Anybody else available?
I'll be there.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Steve.
Can be there.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Ken.
It'll be a lot of help.
Busy?
You can, what
I
you,
will attempt to be there.
what you can do is you can keep track of the money.
Well, yeah.
That's what I told
Doug
Yep.
said.
We need to track the number of appliances and collect money for those.
You'll need to get a receipt book from Deb, right? Lou?
We
Yeah.
come up and grab the box and stuff. He would leave it out ready for me Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And this is like voting day. You have to be there at 6 o'clock. Get everything out.
I just won't go to
what time does it start?
at 4.
The fees can be applied to water bills, is that accurate? Okay. I'll be bringing your refrigerator for Ms. Toots.
It's toots.
Okay. Get a receipt.
I'll bring a refrigerator myself. You can put it on my water bill.
Get a receipt.
You're gonna see night pickup driven by my daughter a few times because she's gonna empty a lot of my storage shed. So, probably taking advantage of it for the first time ever.
And,
What time was that again?
8 o'clock.
8.
Deb, do I need to ask Tony or will he show up?
He should show up.
We need somebody to run that tractor. Or I can run.
I'm not sure that he'd let you run it.
Probably wouldn't. He's a little.
He's possessive of it.
She likes his tractor.
Tell him he's gonna run it, then he'll show up.
Yeah. Hey, Dale says he's gonna be taking the tractor.
I'll be there.
All right. Anything else on cleanup day? Other questions, concerns? I think we got that. Council mayor reports. Steve.
The last meeting, the council asked that we divide the city into 6 areas. I went back and looked at how I did it last time in getting 5 areas. And it's not based upon the number of houses, it's based upon the number of parcels of land. And so dividing it back up, each area gets roughly 69 parcels. Some of them are going to be vacant. Some of them are only 25 feet wide when you get downtown here, but the target was to get about 69 parcels for each area. And I tried to avoid running a boundary line down the middle of the street for fear of council people bumping into each other as they're doing their research. So I went down alleys, or if I needed to, like between E and F on 4th Street, the properties facing 4th are in F, and when you get south of that, they're in E. So you could drive along 4th Street. Whoever gets F drives along 4th Street. They get both sides of the street. Other than that, this is one of about a bazillion different ways to do it. So if you don't like it, I have the original data that has little dots on it. You can play with it to your heart's content.
I think this looks good, Steve, and I appreciate it. And what I would like to see is nobody have their own area. So Doug lives in A, he doesn't get to have A. And I live in B, so I will not take B.
Well, the problem with A is, I think we're all, other than Steve,
So Steve is an F,
because,
which means he can take B.
yeah, because,
I can take A because I'm not.
Yep.
You guys can split E and F and C between the 3 of them, right? Does that sort out the issue of everybody not being in their own area?
Did anybody take the F? Because I live in D.
Yep, you and Steve can flip flop. Steve lives in F, you live in D. You can have Steve's F. Steve will be D.
Yep.
Steve, Sue.
I can't do B because I live on South Street.
So you can have E. Does that work?
but you live on the north side of South Street, right?
Yes.
So you're actually in A.
Yeah, you're in A. So you guys.
Well, no, he's in B,
Oh, he is in B.
because he lives on South Street.
Oh,
This is the railroad.
okay,
Yeah.
She's got the railroad.
Gotcha.
So I'll give Ken E. Doug can have B.
B-boy, is that what you said?
Joel take C. And I'll take A. Nobody has their own area.
Of course, you do the inspection, we also said that, we would hand it off to somebody else to double check the work.
Yep.
And so,
So
Uh,
do we want to identify those now?
might as well.
So Kent, will you take mine? Double check
Sure, I get A.
as your second. Steve, will you take Joel C?
Steve, which one are you? D?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Sue, will you take? No, hold on. I'm gonna think this through.
E or
Joel, can you take Doug's B?
So Steve's taking Joel, but Joel's not taking Steve.
Right.
Yeah, so we're not reciprocating.
No.
Okay.
Because we're trying to keep everybody out of their area. I'm trying to.
So Joel's taking B.
As the second,
Sue said she wanted to take E.
Sue can take B, which leaves Steve taking F, which is his own area.
No, Steve's already has C
we've used the C.
for my second. So the only ones you have left are Dale
And D.
Dale and Doug.
All right, so Doug, you can take D,
D-Dog, okay.
and I will take F.
What was Sue's number again?
Sue starts with F, and she seconds E.
And what was Ken?
Ken was E to start.
Yeah.
And he's the second on A.
A. Okay. And Steve has a second
So-
C.
Yep.
Remind me again of what we're looking for.
Well,
that's
that's
what
We'll
part
decide
of
that the
the
next
next meeting.
Thank you.
Next
We'll
meeting, we'll
identify.
take a look at, all of the things the ordinance
I'll give you a
says,
Baldwin information.
and we
I wrote
will
it down.
pick
Okay.
I got it.
what we want to look for the first go around. Junk cars or
Let's see.
Vacant, abandoned, broken windows, doors, rubber suppressed.
I would suggest that we don't look at everything, we focus.
Main things.
So the bonus is, we have it set, we have it started. So if we decide at our first meeting that we want to focus on cars, then we go out and we do cars. And then we reconvene, come back, and go out next time and do garage, missing windows, things along those lines.
And when you say cars, that would include trailers or other
Vehicles,
things.
licensed vehicles.
Things with
But
wheels.
there are rodents and other raccoons and all
Eventually.
of that. Anything that would, junk cars, junk cars.
So a rodent
We'll
can be,
discuss that at the next meeting.
rodent can be turned into the city at any given time as a health violation. That doesn't require any council action. That's a health violation. You can start the process for condemnation, which is different.
I will put down who has what area and who checks whose, and so we'll have it printed up nicely.
Thank you, Steve. Anything else? Either for that or for your report.
Is the map clear enough for everybody? Do you need to make it any bigger or? Okay.
I think it's good.
That's it for me.
Sue,
What are we voting on?
one minute. Council report.
Oh, council reports. I've just got some things that I wrote down here, questions. Accident liability type insurance. Does the truck pull, rodeo, old settlers market in the park have that type of insurance, or is that covered under city?
So they are required. However, the city has liability coverage, which
We looked at that a number of years ago when I was mayor, and the we for Old Settlers and the city, we compared who was covered already by what, and Old Settlers reduced the amount of insurance that they carried because a lot of it was already covered by city insurance. And so I'm not on the Old Settlers Committee anymore, but I know that that used to be a concern and that it was coordinated with the city.
so one of the concerns or situations that arises typically out of a event such as parking in the park or Old Settlers is the alcohol. The alcohol requires insurance, which is what's done through the alcoholic beverage division. They have to provide that insurance.
The rodeo.
No, but they do have their own insurance.
Okay, and what about the truck?
They would have that
for
for
for their activity. But if a person, an attendee was walking and they stepped in a hole, tripped, and broke their leg, that would be city.
Yeah.
If one of their drivers, the vehicle gets away and they get hurt, or they hurt some other spectator in the pit, that's their insurance.
Their insurance. And so rodeo has no city.
Yep.
Takes care of Old Settlers. What about Market in the Park? Was the other one?
Laura said that they have insurance.
Okay. Okay. Will there be any parking during Old Settlers activities in the yard waste?
Nothing's been brought up yet.
It just is.
So it's added to an agenda item. So the council can take action on it and make a decision.
Will
Can we do
will
that?
the
Add it to your minutes, or to your items that you would like addressed at a meeting, please.
Okay.
when will the burn pit be moved? I mean, we're not burning now, so it's not an issue right now, but that would affect any parking there.
It would, but also, right now, there's an impact with the huge amount of lumber coming in there from the, so they have been working pretty steadily on trying to move the university with that lumber. I don't know exactly when they plan on getting that pit moved, but the city soon, but they've also been chipping. Story County brought in a chipper to help manage that lumber, so. I don't have an exact date or time, that they're just getting caught up from being behind and mowing, with, not having the new employee on at the time, from where they rolled around, so. But they're slowly getting caught up.
Next.
Is that all I had to?
For right now.
Okay, so yeah, just add, if you have an issue with, or a concern about where you want parking, please bring it up as an agenda item.
Because I just know there has been a problem in the past, and then with everything that's been going on with the yard waste, that's something probably should be addressed prior to first week of August.
Works. If you want to attach that to the May 18th, or the June 18th, I'm okay with that. Or we can just attach it to your July.
You think there's gonna be enough time to resolve the issue in July?
Probably should do it.
Should probably get it sooner than later. I really expected everybody to be up here right now. Nobody's showing up. So, if nothing happens, we'll be locked. So
Before-
it's cut.
Before we move on, and I'm gonna go back For one item that I forgot, and that was mowing at the cemetery. It was less than stellar on Memorial Day. There's a lot of weed trimming, grass trimming that did not get done around the headstones or on the Grand Army of the Republic mound. It was, I maybe never trimmed at all. And I was wondering if, it's my understanding that we have city staff going out and doing part of the mowing now, in addition to the part-time person,
We had everybody out there.
okay?
We were way behind.
Now, our track of the total number of hours that we're putting in versus the number of, because we know the part-time person is keeping track of their hours, but for us to evaluate the program, we need to know
Actual hours.
actual hours being spent.
Okay. Recognize
So,
for those.
sorry, go backwards.
You're right.
Is the part-time person only mowing out there? Is that the only
Yes.
duties? Okay.
Not just there, the other cemetery.
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. There's 2 cemeteries.
Yeah.
Joel.
I attended the Central Iowa Emergency Medical Service Director meeting earlier this month. They had a movie they were showing that is going to be coming out that shows how the EMS system is broken, not only in Iowa but throughout the United States. But they're trying to figure out the marketing on this movie to try and get it to the politicians so they can see it, so they can be well informed. So at some point when they do have it come out, it's like a 55-minute movie. But I'd like to see us sit down and watch it so we're all on the same page on EMS. I attended the training for image trim along with several EMS last night before. I don't know, it's blended together. There's a way that we're gonna, Scott and I were working on it. There's a way to pull up a report, so it'll automatically generate a report, and we went in there and put the districts in, so it will automatically, when we fill out our reports after a run, we click on what district it was in, and at the end of the month, it'll generate a report to show, here's how many runs we had, here's how many were in Washington, Indian Creek, Maxwell, or mutual aid out to somewhere else.
Is that assigned by GPS information, or is it assigned by call out?
It'd be by call out. So whoever is the head medic on that call, as they're putting in the data, they would click on one of those buttons to say it was Washington Township. And so then when we generate the report at the end of the month, it'll automatically tell us those numbers. And then at the end of the year, we can
Define
get a
exactly
full report of 365 days, and it'll show so that we can determine
better budgeting.
better budgeting stuff.
Good point.
It's also available for fire. Tony was not at the meeting, so Scott and I will be talking to Tony about getting that done on the fire side as well, so that we can have better numbers. So we're working on that. And then I sent you a text, but I met with Astra Security on getting some cameras in the area. I have costs, they gave me a quote and everything, so I would like to put that on the next agenda so that we can discuss putting cameras, starting to get some security in around the city.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thanks for attending the training too.
Which agenda?
June 18th.
Whenever our next meeting is.
No.
Unless you want to have a special meeting before it. Because I know how much you like meetings.
I love
Can we
meetings.
do it between the 18th and July, whatever?
That's not, if we don't have to. But the other alternative, I mean, June 18th is a working meeting, but we can do some stuff, but our next meeting would be July 3rd.
Yeah, if we want to do it on July 3rd. July 3rd.
Yeah, holiday.
Who did that? It's your fault.
What are they doing fireworks?
All right. So we moving to July 3rd, because now's a good time to talk about that if you want to.
Yeah, I won't be at the July 3rd.
So make it July 10th, 2nd.
I certainly would be available then.
How's that? We'll just move it now.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Now it's July 10th.
Does that work for everybody?
Yeah, if we-
Let me see what my schedule is. Carrie's gone a lot during July. Oh, sure, why not? That's a payroll.
We can insure to sign checks that day. All right, so we'll move the July 3rd meeting to July 10th and discuss the cameras that Joe proposes for that agenda. Good.
Covered most of that through Wes and other things. I did share some numbers, just because our payroll was really large a couple pay periods ago. And I did put some numbers together there, and I just want to emphasize, nothing specific, but we can't afford to run those large numbers repeatedly.
Yep.
That's all I have.
And that was last pay period, and that was prior to having the part-time staff on. And we ended up having overtime hours with city staff to get the mowing even done. So there was along with the, and you discussed not taking lunch breaks during that time.
That's the other thing.
I'll address that as well. But there was also the water main break at that time. So there was a lot going on, and I'm not trying to minimize it by any means. I understand the concern. $2,000 extra in pay period's a lot. It definitely can impact the budget really quickly at those numbers. So we'll try to manage that as best we can.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Ken?
Where are we with the 4 trees that company was gonna do? Cut
Yeah.
down for us.
Any notice or any idea?
Didn't we give them a deadline?
Did we give a list, deadline?
We gave them a list, we didn't give them a deadline.
Terrible.
I can call them tomorrow, I think.
Either that or have the lawyer call
More letter.
How many
It should be
trees?
a dead problem.
There we removed 4. This is the company that was found dumping illegally at the city dump.
Cut the fat
So
out.
we agreed.
So this is 4 of the
However
Indicated
many
trees.
pickings.
Yep.
There's a couple down at the park and one over here on where the old church house is.
Sure you'd want to talk to the lawyer, but I'm pretty sure that if you could tell them, like, here's a deadline, and if you don't do it by this time, we will have the charges filed.
Yeah, we'll just call back to the sheriff's office.
I mean, that's,
simple. I mean,
so-
let's call the lawyer for that. Just call the sheriff's office.
I just wanted to know where we were on that. I know it's,
There's,
I think they have probably been forward, just forgot.
no, I'm glad you brought that up.
Did you have a map of those trees? So that I have,
Of those 4,
yeah,
I will get you one.
just so that I'm more informed of what.
Yeah.
When I'm actually talking to them.
And the stumps too, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that needs
It
to
was
be
the
all
whole-
taken care of.
Okay.
And again, I just want to tell everybody, thank you for all the work they did with the trail. Appreciate it.
Me, I have very very little, other than too busy to get everything done that I need to, which includes, I still have on my list of things to do is to update the handbook, including adding the addendum to that, as well as the track changes. There's still on my list of things to do, and this month got even more busy, so it may be July before that actually gets put together and done, but it is on the list of things to do. I think I have much else.
Let's go around again.
You already had two turns.
I'm gonna take another one.
Go ahead, Steve.
I sent an email to Deb and the mayor about ordinance amendment for the rates for water and sewer.
Yes.
That's going to have to be on an upcoming meeting. Normally, well, when we did the budget, we assumed that those rates would be in place for July. But we're just now going to be doing this. I suggested that we publish it for a single reading, which maybe allows us to get it approved in July, but it can't go into effect until it's published. So we're meeting on July 11th. It will not be able to be published in time to go into effect for the bill that goes out in August. So it won't go into effect until the bill in September. So we'll have 2 months at the lower rate and 10 months at the higher. I don't think it's going to be fatal to the budget, but we'll just have to be careful and watch it. The fact that we didn't get the budget amendment done is really my fault because I got busy doing other things and didn't get the amendment in.
If we pass it on July 10th, I can get it in the paper, and it could be in the paper on the 18th. It only has to be in the paper for the 4 days, and that would give us enough that we could charge it on August 1st.
Can we move that to the 18th meeting?
Yeah.
And that would be a June 15th to July 15th.
Well, if we did that on August 1st, it would be for readings that are the middle of June to the middle of July. So it would be for readings that took place before the ordinance was in effect.
But that's what we did last year.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't really kosher.
So we want to do it for
I would
August.
be a little bit more comfortable by just saying
Okay.
that it would be in effect for September. But there's a place on the ordinance that I sent you where you can put in when it's published, and so whatever you think is right is just fine with me.
We can publish it. I mean, we don't have to put it into effect till the September billing.
One more piece of that. July 1st is the start of the city billing for water and sewer. Where the city is for City Hall, Fire Station, they're all responsible for their water billings. Just as a reminder.
Is that gonna throw our budget into turmoil for our numbers? Because we really have nothing budgeted for water.
Yes, it's gonna change our budget numbers.
It's gonna mess things up there.
We will fix it before the end of the year. That's something we have to do.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand that.
The-
Then we won't have tax on it, so.
Yeah.
It's.
Can this
just
be
for-
done the June 18th meeting and water bills, or the change of rates?
No, because
it's not in
there's not
effect.
enough time to get it published 4 to 20 days prior to the meeting. We're already
Or too late?
only
to get
7
it in the
days
paper?
prior to the meeting, so by the time it goes to paper, it'll be less than 4 days,
It's-
right? Yeah. And like I said, getting it was, I didn't get the ordinance written, forgot all about it till today. So
Much worse things can happen.
That's true.
We can adjust and modify.
you could fire me, please.
Easy, Steve. On to, did anybody else want seconds or thirds or fourths?
Steve might be,
Might need fourths. He's thinking about it.
He's still working.
There was an email.
All right, consent agenda. This is a massive one.
I move approval of consent agenda items B, C, and D, which everyone can vote on.
I don't think I can vote on.
You can vote on B, C, and D, but you can't vote on A and E.
I was not here on the 14th.
Well, the minutes say you, oh, you're right. You weren't
So
here.
just B
So
and
just
C.
B and C.
B and C.
Second.
Further discussion? Sue,
Yes,
Joel,
yes.
Doug?
Yep.
Steve?
Yes.
Ken.
Yeah.
And then, Ken can vote on,
Bills and percent.
well, let's see. Joel cannot vote on A or, C, or A or E.
Yep.
And Ken can't vote on D, A, D, or E.
Why don't we just go on to A?
So it'd be Gast, Philpott, and Miller. Move approval.
Second.
Further discussion? Sue,
yes,
Steve,
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And everybody but Ken for D. Move approval.
second,
Further discussion? Let's see. Sue,
yes,
Steve,
Yes.
Joel,
Yes.
Doug.
Yes.
And then, everybody but Joel and Ken for, E. Move approval.
Second.
Sue,
yes,
Doug,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes. Move approval of F.
Second.
Further discussion? Sue,
yes,
Steve,
F.
Doug,
Yeah.
Ken,
Yep.
Joel.
Yes.
Sue,
Sue?
where you
oh, I move we adjourn.
About time.
go? Further discussion? Joel,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Doug,
Yeah.
Steve,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Same.